Good day, I am your presenter, Floreta, and in this presentation, I will discuss to you what is a medical examiner, forensic scientist, examining evidence, and the techniques of a forensic scientist. So this is under the subject Specialized Crime Investigation 2 with simulation on interrogation and interview. So let us proceed. Number 1 is medical examiner. They are typically physicians specialized in forensic pathology or the structural and functional changes in the body as a result of injury. And forensic pathologists are also charged to scrutinize for body fluids and body tissues and organs. They are responsible for examining bodies post-mortem or a dead body to determine the cause of death and manner of death and the circumstances surrounding the death of an individual. So basically, a medical examiner are medical doctors that aid criminal investigation in cases of death and handling evidences. No? So their duty is to go to crime scenes and conduct autopsies in cases of death, analyze medical history of the victim, and integrate all informations that he have collected. Then he will put it in a report which will be submitted to the investigators to aid the criminal investigation. That the works of a medical examiner are very important in a criminal investigation. That's why they are considered to be prime character in criminal investigation. They are creators of profound breakthroughs in criminal investigation. And also, medical examiners can manage a medical legal death investigation office, perform death investigations, complete autopsies, interpret toxicology and laboratory testing results, collect and document evidence. So those are only some duties of medical examiner. And also they can provide expert testimony in court hearings. Because they are an expert in medicine, they can use the knowledge from their expertise to bring forth a testimony in court hearings, according to their findings. So next one is a forensic scientist, or also known as criminalists. They are persons who specialize on different branches of forensic science, or the application of science to criminal and civil laws. So forensic science, it is the umbrella of all branches of forensic science. So if you are a forensic pathologist, you are under forensic pathology under the forensic science. So forensic science is the broadest branch. It is the main branch in forensic science. So the function of forensic science in aiding criminal investigation is by working hand in hand with the medical examiner. So in cases that the medical examiner needs the aid of a forensic scientist, for example, there will be a drug-related death. So the medical examiner will need the help of a forensic toxicologist to examine the body for drugs or poisons, because a forensic toxicologist is an expert in dealing with identifying drugs and poisons in a person's organs or body fluids. And another example is if there is a death where there are no prime leads to the suspect except the bite marks seen from the victim's body. So therefore, the medical examiner will need the aid of a forensic odontologist, who is a forensic scientist that is specialized in bite marks and in the study of the teeth. So with this forensic odontologist, the forensic odontologist can reconstruct the bite marks and create a cast so that they will have an identification of the suspect or whoever bit the victim. So, next one is examining evidence. Examining evidence is an action of thorough inspection, scrutinization, or probing, meaning examining in detail evidence to construct a coherent analysis of evidence that determines its means and relation to the crime. So, example, there is a dead body with a gunshot wound on the chest. The medical examiner will examine the clothes of the dead body. So, examining the clothes of the dead body is the form of examining evidence. No, he will examine the body for gunpowder residue because this determines the distance of the firearm towards the victim and reveals its possibility whether it was suicide or murder or homicide. So, if there are large amounts of gunpowder in the clothing, meaning that the distance of the firearm when it was fired to the victim was close enough. So if there is a locked room, no, where there are no indications of forced entry, and inside the room there is a dead body with a gunshot wound. So after checking the clothes, and it indicates that the clothes possess large amounts of gunpowder. No? So therefore, no, there is a great possibility that it is a suicide case rather than a murder or homicide case. So another example is asphyxiation. So why do we need to examine evidence in asphyxiation? No, when we think that asphyxiation is a state or process of being deprived of oxygen, so we will think that it is a natural cause of death. So where it can be, however, asphyxiation can be result of many reasons such as hanging, suffocation, strangulation, or mechanical asphyxiation, and also drowning. So by examining evidence, the medical examiner will determine the appropriate medical diagnosis and identify whether it was an accident, a crime of homicide or murder, or it is just plain suicide. So an example, there is a dead body inside a car in the garage where there are no ventilation. So it will be declared that the body died of asphyxiation, but specifically mechanical asphyxiation because of the exhaust in the combustion system of the vehicle that the individual is riding. No? So you need to examine evidence thoroughly to bring forth appropriate medical diagnosis of the death of the victim. Kasi kung hindi na examine ng maayos, no, there may be loopholes in the report. That's why thorough inspection and scrutinization is needed. No, baka iba pala ang cause of death, hindi talaga mechanical asphyxiation. Maybe he was strangulated or he was killed by other forms of asphyxiation. No? So next is techniques of forensic science. So these are applied sophisticated laboratory methods to detect presence of substances. This allows forensic scientists to identify the correlation of the present substances to factors of the crime. So in short, no, dito na lumalabas ang mga tools ng forensic scientists and equipments such as the breathalyzers, no? Dito no it can identify alcohol content or disease, viruses, or even bacteria, no, from a breath sample. So pahingahon ka ba, no? We can see this in movies, no, na sa mga suspected drivers, no, na DUI, driving under the influence. Pababaon sila sa sakyanan tapos pahuyopon sila sa mga pulis atong mura og gamay nga cellphone nga naay antenna, no? That breath sample that they would blow onto that antenna light, no, will identify the alcohol content in their, no, blood. So that is a technique of a forensic scientist. Also, another example is the use of resin. Katong dali liquid na siya nga pag imong iyabos sa isa ka mold, no, mugahi siya. So this is frequently used by forensic odontologists to mold bite impressions or bite marks on chewing gum found in a crime scene, that when the final cast of resin is complete, it creates a precise duplicate of the gum owner's teeth. So kung sino man ang may-ari ng ngipin, no, ay kung sino man may-ari ng bubble gum or chewing gum with the bite marks, no, after casting it with resin, then when the resin is complete, it will create a identical, no, teeth pattern of whoever is the owner of that chewing gum. And also there are other examples, which is the use of microscope to identify presence of certain particles or substances within the lungs. So I have also read it, no, that whenever a dead body is found floating in a river, it needs to be identified whether the body have died or have drowned in that specific river, or it was thrown there where it was drowned in different place. So no, so they will use a microscope to examine the lungs and look for diatoms. No, diatoms, no, they are algae, no, that is found in rivers. So whenever there is no presence of diatoms within the lungs, so therefore, no, tinapon pala yung katawan doon na pre-drowned na, no, it was drowned in a different place, maybe in a bathtub, and then it was thrown in the river so that it will appear that the person drowned in the river, no. So those are just few techniques of a forensic scientist. So in conclusion, no, forensic techniques of forensic scientists, no, are their usage of laboratory tools and methods, no, to aid criminal investigation. So thank you for watching and listening. That is all of my video presentation. So God bless po, sir, and stay safe.